Hello and welcome back. I'm still working on some painting tests and, working on technique, getting back in the swing of things. So thanks for joining me for this. Lately, I've been noticing a lot of great sunsets as the leaves are all off the trees and everything, and we're headed into full steam into winter. And the sunsets have been fantastic. Here's a simple shot I took as an example from my neighborhood. As I've been watching other paintings on YouTube and places and some older Bob Ross videos, I noticed that on a lot of sunsets, people will still do the same highlight and shadow pattern as if the sun were off to the side. And Bob actually talks about that in one of his videos, and he's like, I know this isn't realistic, but it looks good, so we're going to do it. But it got me thinking about how to handle highlights and shadows on trees that, as you're looking at them, they're basically silhouettes. So I have an idea about how to tackle that, and so I wanted to get that down. First, we're going to start with a little sunset. Nothing too spectacular, but just, again, working on technique and getting that brush flow back. But then we'll look at a couple different ways to do highlights and shadows on trees with them almost in silhouette and see if this works. It's an experiment. It may not. We'll find out. But thanks for painting along with me today. Let's get started. So as I got into this, I started with the sky, obviously, and then got a little too blend happy with the reds and yellows into the blue. The sky turned a little bit green there. I would have liked to have kept that a little more separated. Again, that's a learning for the future. And then as I started to lay in the trees, I started with the highlights on the backside. So first painted all the highlights on the back. And here, I think overall it went pretty well, but I probably should have added just a touch of white to separate the highlights on the trees from the sky because those colors are so similar. I didn't want to offset them too much, and I think I didn't go quite far enough. So then when I put the black silhouettes of the trees that would, the portion that would be facing us, you didn't get too much of that highlight. It's a little bit there. It's a nice subtle look, but I think I could have pushed that a little bit further. Then coming forward, I started making the bigger trees that are more in the foreground. And with those, I took that learning and said, okay, I'm going to add some white to this more transparent yellow and orange colors and really highlight these. But in this case, I think I added a bit too much white because the highlights ended up a little bit pale looking and not as bright as what we were seeing with the colors in the sky and stuff. So they're okay. They're just a little pale compared to what I'd like. Then laid the black trees on top of that, and then just roughed in some foreground, a house and the Christmas lights that are on it based on the photo, but didn't get too specific on the foreground stuff. Just working more on this project with the highlights and shadows, and then, laying in the little Christmas lights along the fences and things. So overall, a good practice with a little bit of learnings and playing around with those highlights and shadows. And again, for this level, just keeping things really simple, using just printer paper taped down to a drafting table. As an experiment, I'm relatively happy with how this turned out. Again, not a masterpiece, but good practice. The next project I have lined up is actually a Christmas gift where I'll be doing some little labels for some custom jars, and we want to do some fun paintings for those. So that will be the next project, and I'll bring that to you in a week or two. Have a great day, happy December, happy holidays if they've started for you, and we'll catch you again in the next one. Thanks a lot.